Hello everybody, welcome to another video log into my Philippine diary. Today's tale, how I met my wife. Mary Lou and two other friends followed a third friend from Tarlac to Angeles City. In Tarlac, they had all worked together in the same market. They all quit at the same time, and so this third friend, we'll call her Gina, left for Angeles City. Shortly after arriving in Angeles City, she found a job bookkeeping. She told Mary Lou and the other friend about the job, and soon Mary Lou and the other friend joined her in Angeles City. The boss of the lady who hired their friend Gina was a very kind woman, and she was kind enough to provide Mary Lou and her friend with housing, a place to stay. Soon after, she provided them with a job in her restaurant. Gina's boss was a very compassionate woman. I was living in Los Angeles, California. The year was about 2007. Previous to that, I spent the years of between 1990 and 2000 living in Tijuana, Mexico. But I returned to the U.S. in the year 2000 because my dad was ill. While I was in the U.S., a friend of mine from Tijuana called and asked if I would come to a party of his. I agreed, and I invited two American friends to go with me. We went to the party. We enjoyed the party. It was a great party. While we were there, one of my friends said, we should go to the Philippines. He mentioned that in his time in the military, he was stationed there for 2 tours of duty. He met his wife there, and he actually lived off base in the Philippines in a home with his wife. And so we all agreed. We started putting money aside for the trip, and come December of 2007, we took off for the Philippines. We arrived, we drank, we danced, we went sightseeing, did lots of walking, and everything was great. And for about 2 or 3 days, that's what we did. But once while we were out, we came across a very lovely looking restaurant, a very family-oriented type restaurant. So we went in to get something to eat. The waitress. When our waitress came over, she was cute. I flirted with her a little bit, but she was a little shy. I tried to make her laugh. I asked her name. She said, Mary Lou. I enjoyed myself at the restaurant so much that I came back roughly 8 hours later to have dinner. This time, I talked to everybody in the restaurant, all the other employees, because I didn't want them to see how much I was flirting with Mary Lou. I didn't want to be obvious. But I certainly gave her a lot of attention. That meal went great. I went back for a third meal the next day. There was a gay guy working in the restaurant with her. I told him that I liked Mary Lou and I wanted to take her out for lunch or dinner, but I thought she was kind of shy and a little bit aloof. I said I would like to invite him as well as Mary Lou out for that lunch or dinner. He agreed, and so I cheated. I got a third guy to ask Mary Lou out for me. So he went to Mary Lou. He said, this guy wants to go out with you. And he said, I will come along. You want to do it? And she said yes. So the lunching engagement was on. Our first outing. I was a bit nervous. I had a beer. I had my charm on full blast. I brought out my best comedic material. I tried to make them laugh as much as I possibly could, even at my own expense. I told them about the story when I was a young boy. I was trying to light the oven, the pilot light on the oven, and I turned it on, and I didn't immediately put the match to the pilot. So when I did, it exploded. It burnt off all my eyelashes, or all my eyebrows, and the skin on my nose peeled completely off. It was just one big red nose. I told them I looked like a big black Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That made them laugh a little bit. That lunch went successfully. I returned to the restaurant to see Lou and her friends the next day. And while I was there having breakfast, I heard the gay guy, we'll call him Richard. I heard Richard say it was that he was celebrating his birthday at Skytrax, the club, the nightclub. I asked Mary Lou if she wanted to go to that event with me, and she agreed. So I met her and all of her friends at the house that she was staying at. We all walked over to Skytrax from there. We went in, we danced, we talked, we laughed, we had a little something to eat, we had something to drink. It was a great time. Another successful date. We really enjoyed each other's company. As days passed, I went back to the restaurant once, twice a day just to see her. Sometimes I later went and I asked her out to go on walks or something like that, just continuously to spend time with her. After about a week, Mary Lou invited me to a family event. They were at her sister's house in Tarlac, and they were having dinner, and a lot of the family was there, mom, her dad, and all of her sisters. There are six of the girls in total. They were all there, and so I met them all. They were good people. They were friendly people. They made me feel comfortable. That was a very lovely home. That was the trip. That first trip, I was there about 2 weeks. It was a great trip. I think I saw Mary Lou maybe 20 times in that first trip, going to see her once or twice a day. Before I left, I gave her my contact information, and I took hers as well. We returned home to the U.S., me and my friend, and I was very happy. I didn't go to the Philippines to find a girlfriend. I just went there to have fun. I met a lovely young lady who was very nice. I'm going to call that vacation a success. Not long after returning, my friend and I decided that we should go back to the Philippines the next year. He had a great time as well. I think he had forgotten how fun the Philippines could be. He hadn't been there in 20 years, and this time it was just, it brought back a flood of memories for him. He had a great time. The following year, we returned to the Philippines. We started our trip in Subic City Subic Bay, because that's where my friend was stationed when he was in the military. So we went and looked at the old Army base and a lot of the housing, and we went just had a good look around. We spent a few days down there looking around. He was flushing up old memories and telling me things and giving me the tour that only someone who lived in that area could have or understand. So we did a lot of sightseeing. At the time, my friend met a young lady, and so he had a friend. We soon made our way back up to Angeles City. Previous to this trip back to the Philippines, Mary Lou had returned to Isabela, the province where she came from, to live with her parents again. But when I told her I was in the Philippines, I was coming to the Philippines, she said she would meet me in Angeles City. And so she came on down to Angeles City and we met. We spent a few days together, going out, eating, talking, sightseeing, just having lots of fun. She invited me to spend Christmas with her and her family in Isabela. I accepted, so we took a bus and off to Isabela we went. It was a lovely trip. Traveling by bus is a great way to see the country. I saw a lot of the Philippines, and it was very beautiful. At the Christmas dinner event, it went on for days. It was very nice. I met her parents again a lot of her relatives. It seems like the block that they lived on, everyone on that block seemed to be related to her. I think over that time that I spent there, I probably met a couple of hundred of her relatives. Most of them came for the dinner. It was very, very cordial, very nice. Everyone's very polite. They made me feel at home. I had a great time there. It made me appreciate the province, living in the country, and how country people are. That was an unusual event for me because of the number of people. I come from a family of 3 kids. In California, I think we had two other relatives, and when they all came together for a family event, there must have been 12 of us. At this event, I'm sure I saw a couple hundred people. Anyway, it was a great time. When it came time for me to leave, I couldn't get a bus. The buses were all booked back to Angeles City. So I ended up spending an extra week in Isabela, in the province. And that was okay. I had a great time. It was very peaceful. I got to know her parents a little bit better, got to know other people a little bit better, and we had a lot of time together, Mary Lou and myself. It was a great time. I went home after that, and I'd say within the next 5 years, I visited Mary Lou 4 times. Each time increasingly longer in length. I had already decided that I liked the Philippines and I would like to live there or spend as much time there as possible. So each time I came, I made it so I could spend more and more time. I started looking for ways to exist, ways to work sometime there, sometime in the U.S. I did everything that I could to get back to the U.S. To the Philippines as often as possible. I was a confirmed bachelor. I've never been married. At that time, I'd say I was probably, 47 years old, 48. No kids. I enjoyed being a bachelor. But after a few years of going out with Mary Lou, I decided, to be fair, I either needed to commit or let her go on about her way. I recognized that she was a very special girl, and there was probably no better in the world for me. And so I decided that I would marry her. So on my next trip down, it was roughly 2012, we were sitting around and something happened and my trip got, my trip was shortened. I had to return home earlier than I had planned to. And so while talking to Mary Lou, I asked if she wanted to get married before I left to go back home again. She said yes. And so very quickly, we planned a simple, quick wedding that only a couple of friends were able to attend. We had to do it very quickly because I had to get home very quickly. I got home and was doing what I could to get back to the Philippines again. By that time, we had an apartment, so Mary Lou was living in an apartment waiting on me to return. And as soon as I could, I got back to the Philippines again. My arthritis had started acting up by then. In roughly 2014 or so, I had surgery to try and alleviate some of the pain. I'd say, well, it's not getting any worse. How about that? Can't say it got better, not getting any worse. Well, actually, it probably gets a little worse, but that's another story. Anyway, I ended up retiring in about 2014. And since then, I've been here with my lovely wife and daughter. In July of 2019, I started a blog on YouTube. And this is another entry into that log, My Philippine Diary. Thank you for watching. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and if you enjoyed, share this video with a friend. Thank you.